FBA and ADOS were meant to be lights, was meant to be the light. It's no use for us to go through all of this hardship over 400 years to turn around and go back to the shameful condition we were in at 1600 when we were captured and sold over here. There was failure in that culture at that time, which led to not only colonization, but slavery. So why the person say they want to go back to their African roots? Wherever you are is your African root. Wherever you are is your root. Culture changes. Time changes. Behavior changes. You don't do the same thing today as you did 1600. Many people don't even wash clothes by hand. There's a change even in the last 50 years. People ride more now than they walk in America. That's a bad thing, of course, because you miss out on exercises. A lot of things you don't do because of mechanical convenience. So we ain't gonna go back except to continue with what was the truth. But a lot of things was in decline, especially in what we call Egypt, which was originally called Mizraim, among other names. Accept the good if it's useful. But you ain't gonna go back to do things just because of what? You ain't gonna do genital mutilation, are you? You ain't gonna go back to defecate in the open, are you? Are you gonna go back to tribal warfare? Human sacrifice? A lot of things you want to get away from. So be very careful. You say you go back to the root of what? Wherever you are is the root. And we're forever changing in our culture, the behavior. You ain't gonna go back. We were meant to be a light. We went through all of this tribulation. The tribulation for what? Egypt is synonymous with tribulation and the hardship we endured. Because there was an error in the way. Somebody made a big mistake, an original sin, in experimentation purposes. There was a time we were more advanced technological knowledge than we are even today. We had electricity, air travel, even space travel. Believe it or not, you're here billions of years. And it's not just today we developing and many civilizations that came and gone. Because just look, even during my lifetime, when I was born, I think there was about maybe 1 or 2 billion people in the world in 1940. Now there's 8 billion. Just think if there wasn't civilization people destroyed. And you think you're talking about not billion, I mean trillion. Excuse me. Now there's 8 trillion. When I was born, maybe one. Oh, I'm getting really mixed up now. 1 or 2. the billions. Yeah, billions. I was right. Then, if it wasn't for civilization being destroyed, and you talk about trillions of people. The only answer for that is we did space travel, perhaps we did go over other planets, populate other planet. And then we live much longer. Even the Bible book tell you that. We live maybe 1,000 a year. There wasn't death as we know it today. One day is as 1,000 years. There's been a lot of changes that we don't even realize unless we go into science fiction things, and you would think that's too far off, that you don't believe it. Unless you look at a movie, science fiction movie, or read science fiction book. I don't, but I mean it, if you want to have an idea. But we are here to be a light. Because you see, even today, you see in the news the killing, the murder, the rape, the war. And it's not new. This was going on when we were enslaved in 1600, beginning, or even 1500. Of course, Africa is diversified. There's a lot of diversity, a lot of difference. And there's no cohesiveness until we are forced to. Even today, when Africa's still in danger, anybody could take it over if they desired to, and yet still they will not unify. And if they do try, it's a little at a time. If they have one monetary system, one currency, one military. And Africa is the second most populated continent on earth outside of Asia. They'd be more powerful. So we are the light. We who came in this system. You don't expect all coal, COAL, to become diamonds. Not that diamond is more proficient than coal, because coal is very useful for heat, electricity. Even the steamboat, before there was gas lead, was operated by coal. Was heated by coal. One time when I was growing up, most of the thing was coal. The heat was, in the apartment building was mostly coal. The coal used to be coal man delivering coal. I don't know if they still do that now. I really don't know. But it used to be the coal man to deliver coal to heat the apartment. And sometimes, if the landlord didn't pay on time, the coal man didn't come. And we would be cold. But I'm just saying that because our body is made out of carbon, especially black people. But we see today all the trouble in the world of today, the sickness, the disease, the murder, and people seem to enjoy it. They like the excitement, especially a lot of women love that excitement. That's why you have to think twice. Do we want to actually lead the people out the situation they're in? They complain about it, but they look good at the movies just to see it. They love a horror movie, crime movie, on television, all this reality show, all the confusion. That's why they enjoy that world. And things like hip-hop and different music they gravitate to. So we have to make up our mind. Do we like this world? Do we think our true world is too boring?